Hi, everyone. My name is Brian Erickson, and I am here on behalf of We Star Productions, speaking with Jennifer Lewinski from the Asbury Park Transformative Justice Project. Hey, Jen, how are you?
I'm good. How are you?
Not too bad. Not too bad for a Saturday afternoon.
Lovely. Thanks so much for having us.
Yeah, no, this is great. So, so we're doing this benefit for the Transformative Justice Project. And, as we get that started, let's take a minute or two and have you tell us what that's all about.
So transformative justice itself is a way to deal with violence without the addition of violence from the systemic violence of the system, right? It sounds repetitive, but it is what it
No,
is,
no,
right?
I get that. I get that because
Right.
it's a system where violence perpetuates more violence, and
Absolutely.
it's almost like a self-feeding system where it's some level of violence is occurs, you end up in the system, and it continues to perpetuate that violence cycle so that the system can continue to sustain itself on that.
Absolutely. And it's a monetary system, right?
Yes.
So we use violence to sustain people's money, right? We're making money off of crime, which means that on a supply and demand system, which capitalism is, we have to make laws that sustain our system. So
Yeah, this
people
is
are
this
in
is a
prison.
private, this is
Oh,
this
yeah.
is this
And
is
not even just
criminal
private
justice.
prisons. Right. Not
Oh,
even just private prisons are making money for the state, but I mean, there are other prison systems that are, working for the state as
yeah,
well.
absolutely. Yeah,
Right.
that's what I
Everyone's
mean.
working too.
I didn't mean to just say private. I meant to say it's a for-profit
Absolutely.
system, and anything that involves like any type of criminal justice, any type of like correctional reform. At least in my view, I don't feel like that should be a for-profit industry because, as you said, money just begets more money.
Right.
So yeah, you get that system that feeds itself. And what does the Transformative Justice Project do to try and maybe push back against that? What do you do that works against that money on top of money system that we have right now?
Well, so what we're looking to do is to lower recidivism rates, right? We looked and saw that Asbury Park itself had the highest youth recidivism rates in the state.
That's
So kids were going
crazy.
into jail and they were coming home and they were going straight back to jail. We know that systems like gentrification, right, over police neighborhoods and that's part of why kids are going to jail and coming straight home. The school system and the way that kids are policed in the school system, send them to jail, let them come home and send them straight back to jail, right? So there's a pipeline to prison. There's so many different ways that people get sent home to prison. So we work on all of those different systems, right? The education system, the housing situation, food insecurity, all different facets of poverty, because we know that crime thrives from poverty, right? Police don't fix crime, resources fix crime. So a lot of the activism that we do as a group is to try to bring resources to the community in all of these different ways and to bring other people on board to show them that the more resources that we give people, the less need there is for police in the neighborhood. Because we do
What
spend a
type
crap.
of
I'm sorry?
oh no, I'm sorry to interrupt there.
Not at all.
Obviously we're on Zoom. There's a little bit of a lag, so I really apologize. I'm not trying to interrupt.
Oh, not at
Um,
all.
what I was going to ask was, so, what types of resources are you referring to? Is it? I know you mentioned, there's an element of like there might be an element of hunger on top of poverty. Are you, providing people with like food and nutrition resources in addition to, money, or are there different types of educational programs happening? What's, when you say resource, what do you mean?
Well, Transformative Justice Project, ourselves, because there are many offshoots of the Transformative Justice Project, right? We do TJP classes, and we do educate about the criminal justice system, how it works, the trauma that comes from the system,
Yeah.
how people are sort of ushered into that system, why they're ushered into that system, and ways to go about building your life outside of that system once you've been in that system, right? Reconnecting yourself to the community, or connecting yourself in the first place if you've never been connected to the community, as is the case with a lot of people. So we have that section. Derek, who is another one of the co-founders of TJP, is the food justice coordinator at Trinity Church in Asbury. And he gives out food to everyone. Anyone who is coming home and is looking for volunteer hours or has to do anything for probation or parole, they can work with Derek at Food Justice and, of course, be fed.
Can I ask, how do people, so if a person is, if a person becomes incarcerated, they serve their time, they come out, how do they find out about the Transformative Justice Project? I mean, we're here kind of spreading the word and things like that, but how would a person who is trying to integrate themselves back into the community and trying to do the right things, and maybe just isn't sure where to look because they're not really given the type of resources that they probably should be given, like how would that person find out about what the Transformative Justice Project has to offer?
So what we're doing a lot of networking because we're relatively new, and we talk to parole officers, probation officers. Another person that works with us, Lori, actually works in a county jail in New Jersey, and we just sort of keep spreading the word in those circles, as well as our work in the community puts us in contact with a lot of people who are in need, who very often are people who are coming home because these are people who are not given access to resources so often, right? Everybody who doesn't have access to resources knows someone who is in prison or is coming home from prison or is on their way, unfortunately.
Well, because there's a stigma there too. Regardless, there's that stigma of like, like the ex-con, somebody that did time and stuff like that. But really, and I mean, those things, I'm sure in certain degrees are true, but I can really appreciate that there is something out there, and a group of people that are out there that kind of want to make it just a little bit easier, because I mean, I feel like, and I mean, maybe I'm just kind of revealing a little bit of my own sort of personal politics in it, but, if you've paid your debt to society, as they say, like you should be able to kind of come back and, do whatever, maybe community service that you're now required to do, or to get a job, without the sort of normal hurdles that people kind of have to jump over right now, because you've already been punished, you've already served,
Right.
and that part of your life should be over. And there's just, I guess, I can really appreciate this, because there aren't that many organizations, to my knowledge, that do what you all are doing. Because I imagine that would be a really hard road to walk, like coming out of the system, coming back into society after being gone for, however long, and just sort of looking around and saying, okay, well, now I need a job. Now I need a home. Now I need, something to do. Because it's got to be really, really easy to just fall right back into, kind of fall right back into that system.
Yeah, and one of the things you'll hear us say all the time is that no person is the worst thing they've ever done.
Yeah.
Can you imagine the worst thing that you've ever done in your life defining the rest of your entire life? Everything that you're able to do for the rest of your entire life goes back to that one thing, that one
Yeah.
mistake that you made, that, you know, that one worst day of your entire life just changes everything that you've ever done. And not that I've never been to jail, because I have been to jail, but I've never been convicted of a crime that alters the rest of my future, right? But if I had been caught selling drugs, right? If I had gone to prison for selling drugs, I would not be able to get a student loan to finish my degree. I would not be able to live in public housing. I would not be able to get Medicaid. I would not be able to, like, I wouldn't have access to housing, healthcare, education.
Yeah,
Like, how?
that essentially is that's basically a life sentence in its own way,
Exactly.
because you're
And
being, you know, even though you're no longer incarcerated, um, you're being denied access, and
right. But if
that's,
I
you
was
know,
a
that's a
murderer, I
very
would.
important.
And that's a whole different thing.
Yeah, exactly. Like that's a
Right.
whole
So
different
we don't even
story.
need to get into the drug war. That's a whole separate situation. And I mean, these systems are also inherently racist, right? And since we know these systems are inherently racist and they're built around race and sort of attacking certain communities in that way, we know what communities we need to go to and how we need to circle resources around those communities and have the conversations with those communities about um, how to deal with violence without bringing in the system, right? And that's what transformative justice does.
So now, if you're a part of the community in and around the Asbury Park area, and you know, as we wrap up this interview, if you're part of the community in the Asbury Park area or beyond, and you want to learn more about the Transformative Justice Project, where can you go on the web to learn that?
aptransformativejustice.org is our website. Or you can email us directly at transformativejusticeap@gmail.com. For any information, that email will come directly to me and I will email you back. We are doing currently, we're collecting folks for community safety units, and
Okay.
we're going to train folks up in in all facets of taking care of the community outside of traditional policing, just so that we can make our communities actually safe and not put people in danger by calling the police.
That's important. And Jennifer, really thank you for taking the time. This is really important now more than ever.
No problem. Thank you so much for having me.